He had all the money in the world, but he couldn't buy the one thing that truly mattered: his son's happiness. Alexander Sterling, a billionaire known for his ruthless business acumen, had already spent a fortune on the country's top specialists to help his autistic son Leo, but nothing worked. The boy lived in his own world, silent and unreachable, until, in the middle of a luxury restaurant, a simple waitress did what seemed impossible with a single gesture. What did she do that shocked one of America's wealthiest men? And what unexpected decision would he make, a decision that would change everyone's life forever? The scene was unfolding at Maison Étoile, one of the most exclusive restaurants in the heart of Manhattan. But for Alexander Sterling, the elegant atmosphere felt like a battlefield. He felt the crushing weight of the world on his shoulders, the frustration of being a titan of industry, yet completely powerless before his own 5-year-old son. Leo, diagnosed with severe autism, was in the midst of a meltdown, rocking in his chair and refusing any food with a low, continuous cry. The therapies, the doctors, the cutting-edge treatments, nothing seemed to reach the little boy. It was in this setting of quiet desperation that a young waitress, Clara, timidly approached the table. She had been watching from a distance, her heart aching with compassion. The boy, lost in his own anguish, reminded her so much of her own brother. Ignoring the restaurant's rigid protocol, she made a decision. With a calm, soft voice, she knelt to be at the boy's level, careful not to invade his space. "Hey, champ, this food looks delicious, but sometimes we're just not in the mood, right? And that's okay." She didn't try to force the food. She didn't use a childish tone. She just spoke to him as an equal, as someone who understood his world. With a gentle smile, she took an empty spoon and began to play, making the utensil fly like an airplane, not towards Leo, but just through the air, making a soft, whooshing sound with her mouth. The effect was immediate, almost magical. Leo stopped rocking, his crying ceased. His eyes, previously vacant and distant, now followed the spoon's trajectory with a palpable curiosity. "My little brother loves airplanes too," Clara continued, in the same calm, melodic tone. "His favorite is the red one. What's your favorite color?" And then the impossible happened. Leo, who barely formed words to communicate, whispered, almost inaudibly, "Blue." Alexander's heart leapt so hard he held his breath. Clara smiled, a genuine smile that lit up her face. With astonishing naturalness, she speared a small piece of broccoli with a fork. "All right then, this is the blue airplane. It's ready for takeoff. Permission to land at the station?" Before his father's disbelieving eyes, Leo opened his mouth and accepted the food. Then another piece, and another. That simple gesture, to Alexander, wasn't a trick. It was a miracle. His eyes, accustomed to analyzing spreadsheets and closing billion-dollar deals, filled with tears. How did you do that?" he asked, his voice choked with emotion as soon as Clara was done. She stood up, a little embarrassed by the attention. "Oh, sir, it's really nothing. My younger brother is also on the spectrum. You just learn a few tricks over time to enter their world." But Alexander didn't see tricks. He saw a pure connection, a bridge built where he had only seen walls. In that moment, he wasn't the billionaire CEO. He was a father, overflowing with a hope he hadn't felt in years. He knew right then and there that he couldn't let this girl and her gift slip away. The next day, Clara's world was turned upside down. She was called into the manager's office, who was pacing, both nervous and impressed. "Clara, I don't know what you did yesterday, but Mr. Alexander Sterling, the billionaire, head of the Sterling Group, he called. He wants to see you.
A car will be here at 2 p.m. And Clara, he wants to hire you." A chill ran down Clara's spine. Life had taught her to be wary of the rich and powerful, but the image of little Leo, with his curious blue eyes, wouldn't leave her mind. Little did she know that by accepting that invitation, she was walking into a viper's nest. The family matriarch, the powerful and controlling Eleanor Sterling, was already watching from afar, and she did not like strangers getting close to her empire. Clara accepted the job, and within weeks, the vast, cold Sterling mansion in Greenwich, Connecticut began to see a transformation. Where there had once been silence and meltdowns, there were now small breakthroughs. Leo started using more words, smiling shyly, and participating in the activities Clara designed. Alexander, for the first time since his wife's passing, felt like he was getting his son back, piece by piece. But a long, intimidating shadow loomed over this happiness: his mother, Eleanor. At a tense meeting with Leo's team of specialists, Eleanor made a point of attending. Her steel blue eyes analyzed Clara from head to toe with poorly concealed disdain. "So this is the consultant? A waitress with an incomplete psychology degree from NYU? Tell me, Miss Rivera, what exactly is your miracle method that has my son so enchanted?" "My method, Mrs. Sterling, is to see Leo as a child, not a diagnosis. It's about respecting his timing and finding a language he understands." A cold, silent war began. As Clara won the trust and affection of Leo and the admiration of Alexander, Eleanor moved her pieces behind the scenes. Convinced Clara was a gold-digging fraud, she hired a private investigator to dig into every inch of the young woman's past, from her working-class childhood in the Midwest to her student days in New York. It didn't take long to find exactly what she needed to confirm her suspicions. The full story of Clara's brother, Daniel, who was not just autistic, but suffered from a severe neurological condition requiring expensive medication. And most importantly, the colossal hospital debt Clara was carrying. The pressure on Clara was immense. Her brother's condition was worsening, and the calls from the hospital became more frequent and urgent. The money, even with her new, generous salary, never seemed to be enough. Eleanor knew all of this, and patiently she laid her trap. One afternoon, when Alexander was out of the country, she confronted Clara alone. "Let's be direct, dear. I know about your debt. I know about your brother's illness. I know you're desperate for money." From her designer handbag, Eleanor produced a thick envelope. "Here is a check. The amount is sufficient to pay off all your debt and secure the best private treatment for your brother for an entire year. The only condition is that you disappear, vanish from my son and my grandson's lives. Take what you really came for and leave." Shocked and deeply offended, Clara recoiled as if she'd been slapped. "You are completely mistaken. My work here, my affection for Leo, none of that is for sale." With a venomous, icy smile, Eleanor retorted, "Think it over. It's the easy and smart way out. Or do you prefer the hard way? Believe me, I can make it very, very hard." The hard way arrived the next day. Eleanor used the information she had gathered to poison Alexander's mind, presenting distorted, decontextualized facts, painting Clara as a calculating predator. In his office, Alexander, confused and shaken by the evidence his mother presented, confronted Clara, showing her the papers. "Why did you never tell me about the true severity of your brother's illness? And this debt? Why did you hide that you dropped a harassment claim against your former boss in exchange for a financial settlement?" Clara felt the floor give way beneath her feet. "This is an invasion, a lie. I dropped the claim because I was threatened and coerced. The debt is my responsibility, and I am paying it. I didn't tell you every detail because I didn't want your pity. I wanted your respect as a professional." Alexander, torn between the trust he felt for Clara and his mother's cunning manipulation, hesitated. And that hesitation was the final stab to Clara's heart. She saw in his eyes the seed of doubt that Eleanor had planted. With what little dignity she had left, she declared with a trembling voice, "I can't work where I'm not trusted. Consider this my resignation." She left devastated, leaving behind an Alexander paralyzed by confusion. At that same moment, Eleanor entered the room, a discreet, victorious smile on her lips. But her victory was cut short by the shrill ring of Clara's phone, just outside the mansion's gates. It was the hospital. Her brother had suffered a severe seizure and needed emergency surgery, an astronomically expensive surgery.